Hello, welcome to Zatu Games. Today we are heading to the Court of Miracles and finding out how to exert our own renown over the town and its districts. So here we have the Court of Miracles set up and mid-game for 3 players. The game aim is to get rid of all your renown tokens, which you start with 6, and you'll also start with 3 rogues of your colour. Basically, you have a cardboard token and then these plastic rogues that you will pop your token in so the information is hidden. Learn how to speak. This 2-1 will need to be purchased by placing a renown in this area of the board for the cost of 6 coins, but once it is, you have 4 rogues instead of 3. The other ones you start with are 2 1s, which is just their strength when you come to resolve a district, and a 0, which lets you take a coin from the winner of a battle when you resolve a district. So one of the places you can put your renown is this chart here. You can only have 1 in each row though, and you get a reward and they get increasingly more expensive. Moving around the edge of the board here is the Penniless King, who will trigger districts in the town being resolved. So if the Penniless King were back here and took a move, then this district would resolve with only 1 person in it. You would flip over, see their strength, and then orange would get to place in there. If the Penniless King lands on a white space, then the person who moved the Penniless King would trigger whatever district they were like. If the Penniless King reaches the end of his journey, then that will trigger the end game as well. So on your turn, you will take one of your unused rogues and you will place them into a district on the board. If you have run out of rogues, you will simply move one of your existing ones. So we might take this one here and place it here. We get the bonus we place on, and the plus symbol on the districts means that if you tie with your strength, the person closest to the plus will win the tiebreaker. So I might put this here. This sign means I move the Penniless King one. Let's pretend he was there. Does that. And then this one, oh no, let's say he goes onto the white one. So I get to trigger any one I want, and this one will trigger. Well, I will trigger this one. So this one's going to resolve. So I would flip over this, and I'm the winner because I'm the only one there. So orange loses their renown there, and red will go in. I then return this rogue to me. Here, we would flip them all over. Before that, I haven't quite finished my action. I've moved the Penniless King, but I also get to take district action, which gives me 2 coins. And the person who owns the district currently also gets a coin, even if that's me. So I'll get a 3rd coin there. Then I would flip these over at 2, 0, and a 0, but that 0 means you steal off the winner. Red's going to win, so blue would take 1 coin off red, but red regains control. If blue would have won, they would have taken control from red. These ones are safe, so you can get 5-year tokens in here if you can afford it without worry of them being dislodged, but you must have at least 1 on the board to win by getting your renown tokens out. If you get all 6 out, you immediately win. So what are the actions on the board? They're very, very simple. Remember, you get the action you place on and the district action. So these let you move the Penniless King. The amount of space is indicated. Coins are coins. And green cards are plot cards, which give you various game-breaking powers. For example, take 3 coins from the reserve, and another player of your choice will take 1 from the reserve. When you've used them, you just discard them. Each player with more renown tokens in play than you must give you 1 coin. Take a card of your choice from the discard pile, and there's repeats of some. They're quite handy to have. The other actions are on the board. Here, in the red district, you get to pay and place one of your renown tokens into this area. Here you get to dive in this bag and choose a new rogue. So you pull one out secretly, you look at it, and that's just a 2, so that's better than your base one, and then you must replace one of yours. So in this case, and it's got to be one that's not already on the board. This case, I don't like the 0. I'm going to drown that in the River Seine and then secretly pop that on there. Now, people don't know whether I've kept the original or what, and they won't know until I've revealed. There's all sorts of bonus ones in there, and the back of the rules do give you a good guide to them. So that's what that one lets you do. This one lets you move one of the tokens on the board, but you don't activate it again, so you don't get the actions. This simply gives you 2 coins, and this one's simply a plot card. That is how to play the Court of Miracles. The Court of Miracles came at me from nowhere. It was a game that I had not really heard of before. I missed the Kickstarter somehow, and it's a game that immediately appeals. From the wooden components where you're putting your own coloured discs into and hiding the information that's on the bottom, the rogues, to the Millennium Falcon shaped board. It is a game that kind of just pops for me. I really enjoy the artwork, I really enjoyed the speed of the game. The rules were so concise and to the point that I almost felt like I'd missed something. But then I played the game, and then I played the game again, and I played the game again, and I played the game again. And what's really surprising about the Court of Miracles is that it scales really well. A 2-player game is done in almost 20 minutes. And you still feel like you've had back and forth. And I think the key to this is that each district that you kind of having mini area control battles over only has 3 spaces, so they're going to be resolving fairly quickly. There's 2 different ways that they can resolve, through the Penniless King or through them being filled up. The values on the rogues are not, they don't have a broad range. I think they go from 1 to 3. So you always know that playing a 1 isn't a terrible move, because for most of the game, that's all people are going to have available to them. I really enjoy the aspect of having the permanent places where you can put your renown where no one can touch you, to the temporary ones where you might get kicked out of, and the fact that you can only ever put 5 into the permanent ones, so you always have to have at least 1 on the board otherwise. I do sometimes think that at the very highest count, which I haven't played yet, I haven't played with 5, that's the only count I haven't played at, I do sometimes think that it might have been more thrilling to have less places available for permanent ones, maybe only 4, so you have to have 2 in the temporary areas, but that would have added to the game length. But I just sometimes think I like temporary victory points in Comet. I like the idea that I've got that and people could see it, so they need to do something about it. Whereas if you very quickly got 5, which it would cost you too much money to do it very quickly, but say you got your 5 out, then there only needs to be 1 mistake for you to snatch victory. So that's one of my only real negative thoughts. This isn't a heavy game. It's not one that's going to challenge your terraforming Marses, your underwater cities for game night, but it's one that will definitely be played before or after that, giving you a nice crunch of interaction without breaking your brain, and playing in less than an hour, even at the higher player counts. The interaction is something we're always kind of talking about in Eurogames, the fact that games are very solitaire. This is not solitaire. This is very, very interactive. Replayability wise, I think this has good replayability from short to medium term. I think long term, if you overdid it, you might get to the point where you've seen everything the game has to offer. The plot cards do add a little bit more. The dips in the bag to upgrade your own rogues are interesting, and you can do a bit of bluffing because you could just not use that one. You could keep your original sets. But for a game that has a rulebook that's very quick, that plays so quickly, it's one that I will certainly keep in my collection for the foreseeable future, because it's just an easy one to whip out and play when people are like, oh, I don't know how long I've got left, but they want to have a game that's got a little bit of crunch to it in terms of, not in terms of brain thinkiness, but in terms of, let's have something where we've really had a battle, where we've really kind of against each other. All that stuff. So yeah, so I really like it. The rules are easy, there's a lot of fun. I've played this with my mother and brother, both of who are simpletons and not gamers. That's not linked. They're not simpletons because they're not gamers. Just want to make that clear. Thanks for the note, legal. This is one I would definitely check out. Head to the link below, check it out on Zatu. It's available for a good price, or it was at the time of filming, so it's one I highly recommend. We at Zatu are doing more and more live content, and we've taken up twitching. Do head over to Twitch, find us at Zatu Games, and look out for live content on video games and on board games. Do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you press the bell somewhere down there, you will get notified about all our new content. We are also on the usual suspects of Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.